You know, it's kind of wild thinking about cameras today.
Mm,
I mean, they're everywhere, right? Almost everyone's got this incredibly powerful device just sitting in their pocket.
absolutely. It's almost hard to imagine not having one easily available.
But rewind just a few decades, say the 1960s,
Yeah,
70s,
completely different world then.
cameras were, well, pretty rare, relatively speaking,
Right.
and often expensive.
Yeah.
I remember getting my first basic Canon SLR, or seeing a Polaroid picture develop that magic.
Oh yeah, the Polaroid instant magic.
But even that was like a luxury for a lot of people back then.
It really was. It just shows you how incredibly far and how fast we've actually come.
Exactly. So how did we get from there to here? That's what we want to unpack in this deep dive.
Hmm.
We're going to trace the really surprising evolution of the camera from its absolute earliest precursors right up to these, well, pocket computers we carry now.
It's a fascinating journey.
And our mission really is to understand how the device changing has changed, not just how we take pictures, but maybe even what photography means to you today.
It's a great question. And the story, well, it starts somewhere maybe a little unexpected. The camera didn't begin as a way to take photos as we think of it.
Right. Let's go way, way back, like around 1550.
Mm-hmm.
The ancestor to the modern camera lens, it wasn't for capturing anything permanent at all, was it?
No, not at all. It was actually developed as an aid for artists.
An aid for drawing. How did that work?
So think of what's called a camera obscura. These weren't, portable things you carried around.
Okay.
You'd have lenses placed in, say, a hole in a wall or maybe in closed window shutters.
In a darkened room.
Exactly, in a darkened room. And it would project the image from outside onto a surface inside.
Oh, okay.
And artists could then literally view and even trace these projections. It helped with perspective, with capturing detail accurately.
But the image itself just vanished if the light changed.
Precisely. It was all about observation, tracing, temporary.
So purely for seeing and drawing, what was the next really big hurdle making it last?
That's the key, permanence. And that required chemistry. So moving into the 1700s,
Okay.
inventors started figuring out the light-sensitive chemical reactions, how certain substances changed when exposed to light.
The stuff needed to actually record an image on paper, something similar.
Exactly. This was a really crucial foundational step. Without the chemistry, you just have a fleeting projection.
And all that groundwork, the optics and the chemistry, it finally comes together in the 1800s.
Right. That's when, after centuries really, the camera, as we'd sort of recognize it, is truly born.
And there's one name often credited here, Joseph Nicephore Niepce.
Niepce, yes.
Yeah.
He's generally credited as the first person to successfully create a permanent photograph,
The very first one.
using a camera obscura type device to capture an image onto a surface treated with light-sensitive chemicals.
Wow. Just pause on that for a second. Being the first person to actually capture a moment, make it permanent.
It's pretty staggering when you think about it, isn't it? That single achievement just opened the floodgates.
The whole idea of photography just, boom, takes off.
It really did. The concept was proven. Now the race was on to improve it, make it more practical.
Okay, so let's jump forward a bit. Things start moving faster now, right? 1888. George Eastman.
Ah, Eastman, a pivotal figure. He invents celluloid.
Which is the basis for photographic film.
Yeah.
Flexible film, not glass plates.
Exactly. A huge step forward in practicality. And then he doesn't just invent the film,
He makes the camera too. The first Kodak.
the Kodak camera. And his whole system, you press the button, we do the rest.
That slogan really says it all, doesn't it?
It completely changed the game. Photography suddenly wasn't just for dedicated hobbyists or professionals with darkrooms.
It made it accessible.
Hugely accessible. Suddenly, ordinary people could buy a Kodak, take snapshots of their lives, send the whole camera back to get the film developed and reloaded.
Ushering in the era of the snapshot, the family album.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Truly democratizing.
Okay, so film is here, it's flexible, it's more accessible. What happens next with film technology?
Well, innovation keeps rolling. In the early 1900s, we get 35mm film format.
Which becomes the standard for decades, right?
Absolutely. And alongside that, camera design is evolving too. Think Oscar Barnack at Leeds.
Leica.
Exactly. By 1913, Barnack had developed a prototype, the Leica. It used that 35mm film.
And the big deal was it was small, wasn't it?
Tiny compared to what came before. High quality but portable. really untethered, serious photography.
Okay, so cameras are getting smaller, using standardized film. What about the viewing systems? How we compose the shot? You mentioned those earlier reflex cameras.
Right. So before the SLRs that many of us grew up with,
Hmm.
there was the TLR, the twin lens reflex.
And twin lens?
Yeah, Frankenpeidi's Rolleiflex from 1928 is a classic example, medium format.
How did that work? Two lenses.
One lens on top for viewing it reflected the image up onto a ground glass screen you look down into. Bright image, right way up. And then a second lens below it, the taking lens, that actually exposed the film.
Huh. So you weren't looking through the exact same lens that took the picture.
No, there was a slight difference in perspective, parallax error, especially up close. But it was a big improvement in usability at the time.
A stepping stone, then, towards the SLR.
Exactly. The single lens reflex camera starts appearing in the 1930s.
And the single lens part is key here.
Absolutely key. Because with an SLR, you view the scene through the same lens that takes the picture.
Using mirrors and prisms.
Right. A mirror reflects the image up to the viewfinder, then flips out of the way just as you take the shot.
So what you see is exactly what the film gets. No parallax error.
Precisely. Which
Yeah.
made SLRs the go-to for series photographers for decades. Allowed for really precise, focus, composition, interchangeable lenses became easy. Think of those classic Canon or Nikon SLRs.
Yeah, like that Canon F1 you mentioned, icons.
Definitely.
And then alongside this pursuit of precision, you get instant gratification.
Huh? Yes, Polaroid. Edwin Land invents the instant camera in the late 1940s. Immediate results, right there in your hand. Another kind of revolution.
Fascinating. And the 1960s seem like another packed decade. You mentioned automatic cameras.
Yeah, automation starts making things even easier, automatic exposure control, stuff like that, taking the guesswork out for casual users.
But you also said something really crucial was happening kind of behind the scenes then.
Yes. The 1960s also saw the invention of the first image sensors. CCDs, charge-coupled devices.
The heart of a digital camera.
The absolute foundational technology for digital imaging. But it's interesting.
What's that?
They weren't initially invented for consumer digital cameras. They had lots of other uses first.
Oh, right. Like what?
Well, in commercial broadcast equipment, video cameras, astronomy, industrial inspection, scanners, lots of places needed electronic imaging long before still digital cameras became common.
So the tech existed, but it took time to filter down into like a digital Kodak.
Exactly. It took a while for the sensors to get good enough, small enough, and cheap enough for mass market photography, but the groundwork was laid back then.
So when did we see the first fully digital camera ditching film entirely?
Well, there were experimental prototypes, but a key milestone is 1981. Sony introduces the Mavic.
Mavic. Was that really the first digital SLR?
Well, it was marketed as a magnetic video camera that recorded still frames onto a floppy disk, essentially an early electronic still camera. Maybe not a true digital SLR in the modern sense, but a huge step towards digital capture and storage. True digital SLRs followed.
Okay, so the digital era dawns, and then maybe the biggest shift for most people. The camera finds its way into the phone.
Yeah, and that's surprisingly recent, isn't it? Around the year 2000, we start seeing the first phones with built-in cameras.
And the quality initially was, well,
Let's just say not great. Very low resolution, poor and low light. More of a novelty.
but convenient.
Incredibly convenient. And that convenience drove rapid development. Over the next few years, they got smaller, cheaper, and the quality started improving dramatically.
But you mentioned something interesting earlier,
Right.
the first iPhone. Revolutionary device, but the camera.
Yeah, it's a great example. The original iPhone in 2007 changed mobile computing, but its camera was pretty basic. 2 megapixels, fixed focus, no flash.
Great, I remember that.
It really took maybe another decade, maybe a bit less, for smartphone cameras to truly become viable replacements for dedicated point-and-shoot cameras for most people.
And now, the cameras in top-end phones from, say, Samsung or Apple.
They're astonishing. Multiple lenses wide, ultra-wide telephoto, incredible sensors, and crucially, hugely powerful computer processors and sophisticated software doing immense amounts of work on every shot.
Computational photography.
Exactly. And it means that today, even the most basic, cheapest feature phone usually has some kind of camera. Photography is almost universally accessible now. Billions of cameras out there.
Which brings us to maybe the biggest question. How has all this tech changed how we think about photography?
A fundamental shift, really.
Historically, the goal was often about capturing an accurate image, right? Something the photographer worked really hard to get right in the camera.
Absolutely. Think about lighting. Photographers would wait, sometimes for hours, for the perfect natural light,
Or use complex artificial lights, strobes, reflectors.
all to meticulously control how the scene was illuminated and captured onto the film. Precision was key. The image was meant to be a truthful representation as much as possible.
And contrast that with today. Maybe here most people use their smartphone cameras.
For many users, those traditional concerns about perfect lighting or precise settings, they kind of fade away,
You just point and shoot.
pretty much. The camera software does its best to figure out the exposure, the colors, sometimes even sharpening or smoothing faces automatically.
And if you don't like the result,
Well, you just tweak it. On the phone itself, with built-in filters and editing tools, or using more powerful software later, manipulation is easy. Expected even.
so this leads to that whole debate about truth in photos now, doesn't it? We hear people talk about smartphone photos being inaccurate.
Yes, because there's so much processing happening. Is the final image what the scene really looked like, or is it what the software thinks looks best?
But the counterargument, which our sources touch on, is interesting too. Hasn't it always been up to the photographer to decide what constitutes a suitable representation?
That's a really important point. Even back in the film days, choices were made. Which film stock? How was it developed? How was it printed? There was always interpretation.
So maybe the tools have changed, but the fundamental choice remains.
Perhaps. The sources highlight these really different views. For some photographers, the smartphone is almost the perfect camera now.
Because it's always with you, it's powerful, it has amazing software tools.
Exactly. Incredible creative potential in your pocket. But for many others,
It's just not the same.
for many traditionalists or those with specific artistic goals, the smartphone doesn't capture reality authentically, or it doesn't offer the right kind of manual control they need. It feels mediated by the software.
So it's a real split in philosophy. The very meaning of a photograph seems to be shifting.
It does seem that way, from this painstaking capture of light onto a surface.
To this almost effortless act of computational creation and easy manipulation. What an incredible arc we've traced. From literally a projection in a dark room
Right.
to a supercomputer in your pocket creating images based on algorithms as much as light.
So here's a final thought to leave you with. If photography's main goal has shifted for many, moving away from that meticulous quest for accuracy towards something more like digital creation, what does that do to our idea of reality in the images we see and share every day? As the technology keeps getting smarter and the software inside the camera does more and more of the seeing and interpreting for us, is the photographer becoming less of a capturer and more of a, I don't know, a curator of what the computer suggests? It's a profound question.
What does a photograph truly mean to you now, in this age? Something to think about.